You're tuned into Visions, a business and community affairs program designed to encourage and promote entrepreneurship in Central Alabama.
Thanks for tuning in to another edition of Vision. Cedric Varner, excited about our guest and our topic today. Very informative and educational, a little different from our normal set, but this is really going to be good. Going to be talking with Mo Harper, who is the owner and the president of Authority Bail Bonds. Mr. Harper, thanks for being here with us on the program.
All right, thanks for having me.
Excellent. Of course, you know, we've been knowing each other for a while, and I said, hey, why don't we come and get some education, you know, from the specialists about what you do. Of course, we're in the holiday season, but you don't just work vigorously during the holiday season. You work year-round.
Yes, sir.
And you are a licensed bail bond agency. How does that work?
Well, I'm licensed by the Department of Insurance. The reason why I preference license is because you have other bonding companies that are not licensed. And we try to do things according to the rules and the regs that we're given. Mm-hmm. And we just, when it comes to bail bonding, you have situations where a lot of people complain about the unprofessionalism and the rudeness or this or that. Well, when you come into our offices, we try to treat you like you coming to do a professional transaction. Mm-hmm. You go into a bank, you expect to see a guy who's going to handle you with a certain amount of care. Right. And that's what we try to do in our bail bond office.
Well, so you're really saying this is really a viable, real world professional business. I mean, this is.
Yes, sir.
You got money exchanging hands, and it's really something. So one of the things that you wanted to let us know about your service is that sometimes when situations happen, you know, there's a certain amount that a person has to put down if something happens, and you can do as much as little as 5% down with approval.
Yes, sir. Can do that. The 5% campaign basically started because when I got in bail bonding, I saw that a lot of people, I mean, nobody plans to go to jail, first off. So I believe when you're in a situation of a crisis like that, it's easier to come up with 5% of the total bond than it is 10%. So we started promoting this 5% campaign, and it's been effective for us to date. In the instance, and let's say it's easy to come up with $500 versus $1,000 in an instant. Right. So that makes it easier on the client or the buyer for the bond. Right. So.
Well, like you said, I like that point that you made that, you know, nobody expects to go to jail or end up in a situation. And so what you're saying by being here today is that when that event happens, you know, whether it's a family member or a close associate, you really need to know who to call, and what we said is you can call Mo Harper.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
Okay. All right, real good. Now, as far as your coverage territory, your range whereby people can call you, state of Alabama, regional, how far does it go?
Right now, going into 2019, we're already licensed and able to write in 10 different counties in the central part of Alabama. But we're able to write bonds as nationwide, as far as California, which we just did a couple of months back. If you have a loved one that gets caught here, Interstate 85 and 65 are main thoroughfares. So we get a lot of people that come through Montgomery that's arrested but does not live here in town. Mm-hmm. So when that situation happens, most bonding companies, if they're locally operated, they can't do that bond, or they won't attempt to do the bond because of the risks involved. Mm-hmm. But we, on the other hand, we can do it because we have extensions of a network that we can write the bond.
Okay, all right. Now, one of the ways that people can kind of keep up with you and all the services that you provide is with an app. Now, as I went to your website, we got an app graphic that we're going to pull up so that our viewers can see. So people are actually able to download, it's on the screen now, people are actually able to download this app, and you say it's free of charge.
It's a free app, yes, sir. You can download it for free.
All right, you can get that app and pull that down. And what kind of information, as we see on the screen, that can you get from the app?
Well, basically, the app is just a quick, short, easy way to stay in contact with the bail bonds. Mm-hmm. It has one feature called the panic button, mm-hmm. and if you're in a situation now, please believe when you download the app, you need to already have it with your name and your person you want us to contact immediately. Mm-hmm. So when you push that panic button, let's say for instance you get pulled over, and you pretty much know you have some situations that may cause you to be arrested, you can push the panic button, and we'll already be aware of that, and we'll start making the necessary arrangements. It's already a long process as it is to get arrested and booked in. You want to cut down some of that time, and that's what that app will bring. It'll cut down and limit that time that you're in custody. Whereas you would be in custody 5-6 hours, you could be in there 3-4, or something like that.
Good.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that people want to do, if it happens that they end up being arrested, is they want to be able to get out as fast as possible.
Yes, sir. That's the biggest request.
Yeah, can you get me out of here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I understand. Well, it's good information. In case something happens, it hasn't happened, to me so far. So, I just, in case something happens, I know who to call.
Yes, sir. I'm your man.
All right. Now, tell us a little bit about your background. You told us that you're originally from Memphis, Tennessee.
I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee. I came here on an athletic scholarship to Alabama State University.
The Alabama State University.
Yeah, the Alabama State
Dr.
University.
Ross was here a little while ago. Yeah.
And I did that. I graduated. I had an opportunity for some professional, but that didn't last long, and I came back to Montgomery, Alabama. Okay. And I joined the police department, and I did 5 years with Montgomery Police Department, enjoyed it, and I just transitioned into entrepreneurship, and here it is with bail bonding.
Wow. Now, that's really good, so you became an entrepreneur. Were there any particular influences for entrepreneurship that really pushed you out to working for yourself?
Basically wanting to have something I could call my own, and also a couple of other individuals I won't mention right now, but they were in law enforcement and they transitioned into law in some form. Guys that are attorneys, guys that are bail bondsmen as myself, and other different ventures. So I took that leap.
That's very good, very good. Well, that's one of the things that we talk about here on the program is entrepreneurship. So that's why you're here today. Now, you wanted to let everyone know that you operate 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Yes, sir. We do operate 24 hours, 7 days a week. I'm not the only one that's on staff. I want to make sure I mention that. It's not always me, but somebody will answer the phone. And I want to make sure I say this. Sometimes people call the bail bonding office and they say nobody's answering. Well, you have different factors that may be going on. When we go into the jail or to the courthouses, we can't take phones. Sometimes the phones are forwarded to another agent that's on duty, primarily on duty, like the after hours. But it's always somebody's going to answer the phone, and they're definitely going to give you a call back. And we try to make sure our people that call us that we will contact you back. If we can help you, we're definitely going to do that. But it's 24 hours, 7 days a week. Wow,
I tell you what, that's just really good information. Every time I see you, I love your tagline. Let's get them out. And I sent you the photo when I was going down the street the other day and saw your billboard. Okay. And so, does that work? Is that effective for you? That people remember you because your goal is to get them out?
Well, I came up with that. First of all, let me tell you how I came up with it. Someone was asking me one time, how does a bail bond transaction take place? What goes into it? Yeah. And I basically gave them the rundown. Okay, we do the paperwork, we take information, the documentation, what have you. And then when all that's done, they said, "What do you do?" I said, we just go get them out. And I just say it's like, let's get them out.
That's good.
And that's basically that's where we came out with that that tagline, let's get them out. And that's pretty much what happens.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah, that's the end goal right there.
Get them out. So how does it work? You get them out, and then they normally have a court date.
Yes, sir.
Afterwards.
Our primary job or focus is when we get you out, we're not really concerned with the necessarily charges. Our job is to make sure you show up for court. That's where we basically have the approval from the presiding judge or whatever county we in to do so, to make sure you show up on your court-appointed date. If you do that, then that's a great transaction. We got future relationships or what have you, and we're good to go. Now, sometimes it happens where people don't do that, but we have situations and safeguards in place to handle that as well. But it's all about making sure they go to court. That's it.
Now, that is not just this county that we're in now, which is actually Montgomery County. Your coverage territory, several counties.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, I think you also mentioned something about Florida. being able to service that area?
Well, you know, we in Montgomery, in the state of Alabama, during the spring season, a lot of people like to go to the beach. Well, that's where we get a lot of calls, because sometimes people get in situations where they are arrested. And the local bondsman who's ever there will tell them, you need to contact a bail bond agency back in your home city, your hometown. And that's where I would come in, because I can do what they call a transfer bond. A transfer bond means that an agent there can do it for me, and I can do it because his relatives and his family members, they can come to me here locally.
Okay.
And it cuts down another situation where the time and the travel and all that is concerned.
Okay. And that sounds like that also has to do with you being licensed
Yes, sir.
to be able to offer a service that broad.
Yes, sir.
Wow,
Exactly.
that's really good. Now, you said if somebody is an Alabama resident and they are living in something happens in another state, you know, Texas, California, how does that work?
It's pretty much the same way. It's called a transfer bond. Basically, if he's arrested in Texas but he lives here, or vice versa, he's arrested here in Montgomery County but he lives in Texas, all I have to do is pick up the phone and contact a certain somebody, and they'll let me know who's there, and then we can get together and we can make the bond work without somebody having to travel or commute to get here, and so he can get back home or she can get back home. And that's pretty much what a transfer bond does.
Wow.
And you have to be a licensed bondsman to do that.
Whoa. So does that license require some kind of testing?
It's funny you asked that. You have to take a 20-hour pre-licensing course, which I am the only one in the state of Alabama that's a bondsman that offers the pre-licensing course. So you take the course, and it's 20 hours, like I said. It's online, or you can come in and we can schedule for a 5-day, 4-hour session. But basically, you learn all the concepts from the history of bail bonding to the policies and procedures of insurance, as well as what to do when you become a bail bondsman. And once you get licensed, then you get appointed. Just like an insurance agent for life and health, we do the same thing with bail bonds.
That's excellent, excellent. Well, that's because this is a business.
Yes, sir.
And a legitimate and viable business. Well, Mr. Harper, we want to say thanks for coming to be with us on the program.
No problem.
Enjoy, very educational and informational. Always inspired when I see you, like your style and being professional. So whenever you're in a situation where you need support, you need help with the bail bond, please call Mo Harper, because he's going to help you, because his brand statement is "Let's get them out."
Get them out.
Okay. All right, that's going to do it for us on this segment of Vision. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back.